Starts first down and 10 at their own 10-yard line. And Tevin Coleman with some running room. Tevin Coleman down the sideline. Coleman, one man to beat. Tevin Coleman's going to go 90 yards, and Indiana takes the lead. Randall L. scrambles, started off the pitch, keeps it himself down the sidelines. He could go. Antoine Randall L. touchdown.
Roy going to the single coverage, end zone. Touchdown. He hits Cooper again.
Happy homecoming week, everyone. This is Who's Your Happy Hour, episode 224, previewing IU hosting 5-1 Nebraska. Depending on the polls, you could see number 25. You could see unranked. You could see IU 16. You could see the 18. Regardless, I have Seth here to talk with me about everything homecoming, IU football, Nebraska football, and October football. Seth, how are you?
I'm excited to be here. I'm back from Uranus. I'm still sane. Sorry. We didn't talk about the Fudge Factory?
Yeah. On 69.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It has to be on 69. It's the only place it can't be on 70. It has to be on 69.
Yeah.
So a little fun fact. So I work for a small company, and our marketing director left our company to go be the marketing director for Uranus Fudge Factory. I will not say her name. But she spurned the company I work for to go work for Uranus Fudge Factory. So
it is
all I got to say about that.
Yeah, it's effective marketing.
It's fun marketing. I mean, would you rather market bicycles or,
butt nuts and wiener jokes?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
Well, back in these neck of the woods.
Yes. So, birthday boy is not here with us. If you guys were wondering where Bragg was, he is not here. He's taking a family vacation to another Big Ten city. We won't give that city the time or day, but he is not with us today, and he will not be with us, or me, I guess, Saturday in Bloomington. So everyone, Go give him a shout out and rip him. We always say rip Seth. I always in the intros, say go rip Seth. Go rip Bragg. Arguably the biggest game since, we can say Cincinnati, but this game's bigger than that game.
Oh.
So the biggest game in half a decade at least, probably in my lifetime, IU football fan lifetime, which is about 13 years. Bragg won't be here, so go rip him, because I'm ready to run through a wall, you name it, brick wall, cement wall, I don't care. I'm so pumped for this game Saturday. Seth, am I too hyped?
No, so I was in the same ballpark. I was actually low key. So we're supposed to be in Louisville Friday night. And I was like, oh, we come back through Southern Indiana. We can spend the night Friday. I can let you go to homecoming on Saturday. She was like, no, I'm not really into it. No, I don't know. And then suddenly she got a phone call, I think Monday.
Here we go.
A family friend couldn't go to the game, had 2 tickets they just had to get rid of. And now suddenly her dad and her are going to go. Both alum, so it makes sense, are going to go to homecoming to watch the game. So it was my idea to go, and I got squeezed out of my own plan.
Yeah, that's tough. That's a tough break. It's a tough break. The game is this Saturday.
Be hype. Sorry, be hype. This
Yes.
is like in the Big Ten, in the Midwest. This is one of the games you've got circled on the calendar of like 5-1, 6-0. Is
So
IU
it's
for real?
normally
Is Nebraska
later.
for real?
It's normally later in the year, but there is a weekend, and I forget. Maybe it's week 10 separation Saturday, where you really kind of figure out who the men amongst boys are. This is a separation game for both teams.
Yeah.
Right. We will find out which team is a contender and which team is a pretender after this game.
Yep.
Whoever loses this game, you can get rid of playoff hopes. You can get rid of New Year's Day or New Year's Eve bowl. I don't want to say this is an elimination game because both teams are going to go bowling. Both teams have largely already had a successful season. But
both teams have L's on the schedule coming up. This is the game they can't afford to lose to still have those aspirations.
Correct. Absolutely. So this, again, I mean, you hate to say an elimination game in October, but I'm going to say this is a separation
Playoff
Saturday.
Implications. Say
there we go. There we go. Playoff implications are happening at the Rock Memorial Stadium in beautiful Bloomington, Indiana, on Saturday, October 19th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. What channel is it on, Seth? We haven't seen the promos 1,400 times. What channel is it on?
Facts.
Oh, man. They really do pepper that on NFL Sundays. They make sure loud and clear, big noon. I have a few questions on big noon kickoff and Brando's Randos. But what I want to get to, because Bragg's not here, and this is what I like talking about, is the line. It started at 3.5, jumped up to 7, now down to 6.5. Wouldn't surprise me if this is at 6. Come kickoff. What do you think of the line jumping up and then creeping back down?
I believe that markets find their level. I think this was a situation where 3.5, just based on everything coming into the scene below. I think a lot of IU fans thought it was probably closer to 5. I know there were some people who were complaining, thinking that it was closer to that. And then all of a sudden the money went to IU and it overcorrected. The market was like, oh shit, too many people, too hot. And eventually they pushed it to 7 and they go, then all of a sudden a little bit of money started flowing the opposite way. Because I thought the number in my head was probably closer to 5.5. I thought that probably made a lot of sense. Probably would be appetizing on both sides, probably entice some money line buys. But this is one of the more fluid lines I've seen from a Monday through a Wednesday, at least of this season, I can remember.
For sure. Let me see if I can't get, what is Nebraska money line right now? Only plus 190.
I was going to say probably around 200. Yeah.
That's not a ton of juice. Do you think it comes down to 6? Or do you think it's stabilized?
I think 6.5 makes sense for and especially coming in with and again, I didn't look at that going into my prediction, but I was like, damn it, they're right on where I'm at again. So yeah, I think 6.5 makes sense from a money perspective.
Yep. All righty. So moving on here, what we do here on the preview is we don't break down the opponent in length. We did that already 19 episodes ago on episode 205. So if you want to jump back and go listen to our opponent breakdown, that is episode 205, where I think that's about an hour-long podcast, where we really deep dive into the position groups and the offensive scheme and the defensive scheme. We go really deep into Nebraska. It's not what we're going to do here. We're going to look more at this on the IU side. Where does IU rank versus where Nebraska ranks? What IU players are we looking at? So that's what we do here. And then we'll go over some Brando's Randos, some Seth Sacks, obviously do a prediction, and then we'll do around the Big Ten before we get to final statements. So let's go first into the bye week, because it's always joked, Seth. I think IU won the bye week with how things shook out in the top 25. What would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't anticipate there was one team that fell a lot further than I thought. That ended up
5 of the top 11 lost,
Mhm.
which
Yep.
you want the top teams getting losses, right?
Yeah.
Because IU's not getting in over the top echelon teams, right? Like
No.
if there's an undefeated or even a one, like you said, losses are coming, right? IU needs other teams to accumulate losses.
Mhm.
So, it's weird. It's a joke. Oh, we won the bye or we didn't lose the bye. I think IU won the bye in perspective of not only what happened in the Big Ten, but what happened around the country.
Yeah, I think if you look at the Big Ten standings, especially, IU is now one of those very few teams up there with a 0 next to its name in the loss column. And because of that, they have now a lot of those teams like Ohio State chasing them in the rearview mirror. And
Yep.
if you're ahead of them in the loss column, I mean, that's exactly where you want to be, because now, again, you're going to play Ohio State at some point.
Yep.
Is that, you would need it. That's essentially a game and a half you'll need to have over them.
Yep.
So it's fun, it's exciting, but there's only 2 teams who are going to be playing in the Big Ten championship game. And if that's a goal you end up having, I mean, damn, you got to stack these wins and you got to avoid these losses. And this is the game, as we talked about before. Both of these teams, Nebraska already has a 1 next to their name with that Illinois game. I mean,
Yep.
you cannot afford to have 2 at this point in the season.
Yep. Completely agree. Again, if both teams go 11-1, Ohio State at 11-1 gets in over Indiana 11-1.
100 times out of 100.
You now have control your own destiny to control the win-loss over Ohio State.
Yep.
Same with Nebraska, right? Same with Michigan. So again, in my opinion, you want to see those teams taking L's, and they did.
Yep.
I would have liked to see Penn State lose, to be honest. So that's about the only one that didn't go the way that I wanted in the Big Ten. I would have liked to see one. I don't like James Franklin. And
I was going to say,
2,
go for it.
go on. No, and it would have just been good for IU, right? Like if you look at Penn State, the rest of Penn State's, they play Ohio State, and that's it. They're going 11-1. Right, an 11-1 team gets in over 11-1.
See, that's where I think you're wrong, because Penn State every year, one game plays an absolute shit dud and ends up losing to an Illinois or ends up losing to some
that could be at Minnesota,
right? So
it could be at Minnesota.
So of all the teams where when they're really good, you can chalk up the W, and feel pretty damn good about it. Penn State never feels like that program. It never feels like that team where it's like, oh, they have Iowa coming in. Oh, that's a guaranteed W. No, they can piss around and lose that game pretty quickly. I mean, I'm not looking at their schedule right now, so that may not be on the radar, but I can see them losing to Rutgers, having a bad game against Maryland, having a bad game against a number of Big Ten programs.
And they go to Camp Randall next weekend,
right?
For a 7:30 game.
And who's high on their horse right now? Wisconsin.
Yep. All righty, let's shift back to this game and go into a little bit of where IU rankings, because not only did the scoreboard help, but the analytics even themselves out. Despite not playing a game, they moved up to number 4 in the country in offense, number 2 in the country in scoring. Their rushing dropped down to 32, but their passing jumped up to 10. So again, the number 4 total offense and number 2 scoring offense in the entire country. Year 1, Shanahan and Sinceri have these boys rolling, Seth.
And I think it's important to say the name of the points that they're scoring per game is 47.5. Yeah. Even in Kevin Wilson, where they'd give up 60 points and score 47.5, that I'm sorry, they weren't scoring 47.5. Those are absurd numbers. And great.
Yeah. Over 6 games. I mean, again, this is through half of the season.
3 Big Ten games now. It's no longer.
Did you listen to Rourke's? He got interviewed for Fox, and they released a few things. Did you listen to any of those sound bites?
No, I missed that.
So they attributed, again, the whole interview didn't come out. I'm sure that'll come out Saturday morning is when they released those couple minute segments. But I saw 2 30-second segments, and Rourke just talked about how Shanahan every play has an option, which he said he's never had before. He was just like, this play works against this defense. And if it wasn't that defense, it didn't work.
It's a zone buster. It's a man buster. It's a
Or this play works if they're running this. He goes, that's not how. He's like, Shanahan's offense is complicated, but it works on any defense. There's this route or this scheme or this. He's like, it can beat any play, can beat any defense because of the options, whether that's RPO, whether that's a receiving break, whether that's a line shift, all of that. And I'm sure he goes into it more detail, but I thought that was so interesting.
What I find even more fascinating about that is sometimes when they have the complex systems, as a fan, as somebody watching it, you can tell. You're like, oh, this needs to be in better sync, or this needs to, 10 guys made the right decision, one guy made the wrong decision. For whatever reason, as complex as this system is, they all seem to be grasping it together and moving forward in one direction and making it seem to the lay viewer like it's a pretty simple offense.
Yeah.
And again, that's not meant as a negative in any way. That's meant as a compliment to how they're making complex look simple.
It's how geniuses make math look easy, right? It's not.
Yep.
It's not. And then another thing he said in another clip was they asked how are you scoring so many points? How are you getting so many yards? He goes, we rotate so many guys. He's like, everyone's fresh all the time, which I also think is a great point. IU runs out 6 wide receivers.
Yep.
IU runs out 3 to sometimes 4 running backs. So again, it was just a little blip, but the question was, how are you guys scoring so many points? How are you getting so many yards? We just run out so many guys.
And to speak on that for just a second, is when we were talking in the offseason about bringing in all of those running backs, we're like, hot damn, like how many can you possibly bring in? And then when we were talking about healthy position groups, we were like, well, the wide receiver group is pretty strong. I don't even know how many we actually need to bring in. They ended up bringing in 3, and you're like, well, shit, it's a hell of a wide receiver room now. Well, Now it's paying off. Now it doesn't seem like a glutton position-wise. Now it's like, oh, they did this for a goddamn reason. There is methodology to this madness, and it's really nice to see one of those kind of where we're kind of head scratching in the off season, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh, there was a lot of planning behind this, and it's brilliant, and it's really paid off.
Early Brandos Randos before we move to the defense. Do you think we've seen the whole offense?
No,
because I don't.
No. Have you seen a trick play?
No.
Have you seen? Yeah.
You've seen tempo. I mean, again, you still haven't seen. I still think there's a lot to this offense, and IU is averaging 516 yards and 48 points. That's exciting.
I think it was in the first game they did kind of a gut buster play to Zach Horton, but Cole Kmet in the Bears game last week, they did a fake screen right, fake screen left. No, sorry, fake screen left, fake screen right, and then seam to the tight end. Yeah. That's the play I'm waiting for. That kind of creativity, that kind of eye candy that then just completely makes the other defense look drunk.
It's another Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan ran that in the playoffs last year with Kittle. And that play's just been copycatted to
of
death.
Course. It's a copycat league of as they should.
It's a copycat sport.
Yeah.
Right. So the double screen seam has again was a kind of Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, Kittle special there. All right, let's jump to this defense, which again, just as impressive. The defense was 8th last week in total. It is now 6th, averaging or only giving up 256 yards a game. 11th in scoring defense, also up 2 from 13 at 15 points a game, sub 15 points a game. 6th in rushing and 21st in passing. Remember that number, 21st in passing, only giving up 172 yards. And with a turnover margin of 36 at +3 for the season. Out of all those stats, there's one that jumps out to me the most. What is it for you?
It's rushing defense. That is the bread and butter of the Big Ten. I don't care what the West Coast teams bring to this league. This will always be until I'm proven wrong, a run first league. You have to stop the run. It establishes everything else. It is the foundation for what you build an offense around. And foundationally as a defense, it's what you have to stop to make teams one dimensional. And we don't have good enough quarterback play in this league to threaten on a week in, week out basis. So if you can stop the run, there's a lot of teams that don't stand a hell of a chance.
Yeah, and we'll get into this kind of in the next segment. But for me, it's the scoring, allowing less than 15 points against Power 5 teams in 4 quarters. So in regulation time, Nebraska's only scored 28, 24, 28, and 14. This is not this is not an offense that lights teams up. This again, we'll get into it. This is a team that's very in the trenches and defense oriented. For as much as Raiola gets all the headlines, that's not what this team is about. I think a lot of people are expecting this to be a little bit of a heavyweight offensive fight. You got Rourke, you got Raiola, you got Rule, you got Signetti. I actually think this is going to be much more of a defensive game. And again, IU's ability to shut things down in the red zone and limit field goals, I think is going to be it's been important to their season, and it's going to be important to this game especially. So it was the scoring, again, 11th in the country at 14.83 is a stat that jumped out to me. Anything to you on IU's rankings before we move into Nebraska?
No, I think the one thing I will be taking an additional look at this week, as always, is the turnover margin. I always want to see the creeping towards the positive. They're currently at +3. If they end up this game at +5, I think every Hoosier fan has to feel really, really good about their chances of winning that game.
Agreed. All right, let's jump into kind of, again, not going to go into it much because we went into that. But again, I want to go where they're at on offense this year. Remember these stats: 77th in total offense, not lighting it up, guys. 71st in scoring. I mentioned what they've scored against Power 4 teams. They're only averaging 28 points per game. Mm-hmm. Remind you, IU's averaging 48 points a game. Mm-hmm. 90th in rushing offense, 57th in passing offense. They want to pass the ball. When you look at their running backs, they kind of do what an IU, they kind of have a 3-back committee with one leading, but they kind of do running back by committee. None of them really jumped off the page for you. But what do you think on their offense before we go into their defense, which is more of what I want to talk about?
Meh. That's the extent of my notes on the offense. I wrote 3 letters, meh. There's nothing about that excites me. I know Dylan Raiola is supposed to be this exciting freshman quarterback, this phenom who's going to be Patrick Mahomes Jr. I get all of that. I've seen a lot of good things. I don't think he's like a bad quarterback or anything. I think he's a perfectly fine, serviceable quarterback. But when you look at the stats, I've watched 4 of the 6 of their games so far this season. You could not pay me to watch UTEP or Northern Iowa. But I've watched 4 of their games. They're a serviceable team. Serviceable offense. There's nothing about them that stands out. There's not a player that goes, oh my God, he's going to be a stud one day, or that guy has future pro written all over him. It seems to be largely a Dylan Raiola or bust offense. And so, being a freshman quarterback, I don't know. That's not great, as good as he may be.
Now, I was banging the Rutgers drum pretty loud.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty loud. And then especially what I thought they did to Rutgers offense, I was like, dang, Rutgers offense is pretty good. And then I saw Wisconsin hang 42 on the road. So are you telling me Wisconsin and Braden Locke, is that his name?
Yeah.
Braden Locke has a better offense than Nebraska? I think so. And is anyone scared of Wisconsin's offense? No. This offense for Nebraska leaves a lot to be desired. They want to control the ball. Rayola's only throwing 8 yards a throw. They're only averaging about 4.5 yards a carry. This is not a dynamic offense. Now, they have some big wide receivers that might challenge size-wise, that might challenge the size of our secondary. That scares me. But outside of that, it's mainly their offensive line. Their offensive line is pedigreed and big.
Yep.
But what is IU's defensive line? Also pedigreed and big. So before we move to the defense, which is what I really want to focus on, I think that is a huge matchup, Seth. Who are you taking? Nebraska's offensive line, IU's defensive line, or is that a wash?
I think it's pretty close to a wash. I would give maybe a slight edge to IU just because it's home, and it's always so much harder to call protections with a freshman quarterback on the road. That just adds an additional dynamic to the game that makes these things just a little bit more complicated. So in those situations, if it's ever a push or close to a push, I always am going to defer to the home team. And with IU having a sellout, with it being Hoko, all that jazz, you got to expect it to be, if ever it's going to be a difference maker, it should be Saturday.
Yep. So I didn't watch the Nebraska-Purdue game. How'd their offensive look on the road there?
So it was awful. It was absolutely atrocious, but they were dicking around with Purdue the whole time. They knew that they were going to win the game. So there were several times where they got the ball in the field goal or in scoring position, and then they just go for it on fourth down instead of kicking a field goal. And you're like, how the hell is it 0-0 still? And then eventually Purdue was like, you guys know that you can just win this game, right? We're not going to put up enough of a fight to stop you. And then eventually they were like, okay, let's score a couple touchdowns and let's get this over with. But there was nothing. So again, the Illinois loss that they had, Purdue all of a sudden looked like world beaters against Illinois. So is this loss to Illinois looks worse by the week too? Rutgers, Purdue, Illinois, none of those games now are you like, hot damn, they really socked it to them or they really showed them. Like, no, none of those makes you feel good. Oh, we had that close overtime home loss to Illinois. Shouldn't we feel great about that? No. Oh, we beat an absolutely terrible Purdue team by 18 in West Lafayette. Should we feel good? No. We beat a Rutgers team 14-7. Shouldn't we feel great about that? No. So what do you have? What is there offensively to get excited about other than this guy's pedigree and everyone telling us he's fantastic?
Couldn't have said it better myself. I would have tried. All right, we've ripped their offense enough. Let's jump to their defense. Remember, IU is the 6th total defense. Nebraska's 13. Mm-hmm. IU is the 11th scoring. They're better. They're 7th scoring defense, only giving up 11 points a game. They're 31st in passing and 7th in rushing. I think more importantly, this whole thing is they get after the quarterback. They're at 20 sacks through 6 games. That's almost 3 1/3 sacks a game. They also have 7 or 8 interceptions, over an interception a game. And Rourke doesn't seem indestructible anymore. It was mostly just that Maryland game. Mm-hmm. Now that I think about it, which was also at home in bad conditions. But what I am, if I'm worried about anything, it is this defense. Is that valid?
Oh, absolutely. The black shirts are back. I will make jokes about a lot of things. But their defense is legitimate. They are absolutely the unit on this team that should strike fear into opposing teams. I mean, Ohio State's, the Penn States, the USC's will still be able to move the ball against that. But for the most part, the Big Ten teams are going to struggle against Nebraska's defense because they have enough playmakers, they have enough size, and they just don't beat themselves. They're very fundamentally sound, which, and Matt Rule, take him or leave him, whatever. He always has pretty athletic defenses, surprisingly athletic defenses.
Yep.
And so none of that surprises me. The one thing that surprises me is that they can't run the ball. All of his Temple teams, all of his Baylor teams, all ran the ball really well. This team does not. So when you look at the DNA of what this team is, it has some of the Matt Rule characteristics, just not all of them. But the defense absolutely is for real.
So the thing that makes me excited, I mean, they are 31st in passing, which is good, giving up 188. But do we need to go back and look at the quarterbacks that they've faced? It isn't exactly guys they're going to light up. I know you're higher on Altmaier than I am. I think you're probably a little higher on Hudson Card than I am.
Not anymore. Max Brown for life, baby.
But man,
Shedeur Sanders, I don't get that still, but I know he's supposed to be a top prospect.
Prospect, I think, is the key word there. But yeah, they haven't seen anyone like Rourke. I think where you can really take advantage of this team is if the offensive line can give time. I think this secondary is beatable with the wide receivers they have. I will not. This is the first time ever I will not be taking Rourke for 303 touchdowns. But I could see 225 and 2. I think I think IU does pass for over 200 yards. And I do think Rourke gets 2 touchdowns. And I think this pass defense can be broken if given time, which they've shown that they have been. Bob Bostad and the boys have been pretty good at that. I don't want us to give up the run though. I don't think Shanahan and company will, but I think running is going to be difficult. I don't think you're going to see the Kalon Black, the Lawton 8, 12, 15-yard runs this game against Nebraska.
I'm going to ask you the same question you asked me. Do you trust this offensive line versus, well, it's the inverse of the question you asked me. Do you trust this offensive line versus their defensive line? I say yes. I think this offensive line has shown up 5 out of the 6 weeks, 5.5 out of the 6 weeks even. I think they have a lot that they have proven. So I think
they haven't played anyone like this yet. They haven't played anyone near this yet. But
this will be their toughest test, of course.
It's got to be yes until it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The offensive line has showed you zero reason to be concerned, and to have concerns would be doing that crew disservice. So I will take a wash, and that's probably a little bit of crimson colored glasses. But again, that's how Nebraska wins, is in the trenches. And if you're saying it's a wash and I'm saying it's a wash, I think that bodes for IU very, very well. If it can be even in the trenches, I like IU's talent on the in the backfield, in the wide receiver room, and in the quarterback room enough to win this game.
Yeah, at that point, it all comes down to turnovers. Who can hold on to the ball?
Yeah.
I think that's
great. Turnovers is the great equalizer. Certainly does. All right. I think this is going to be fairly easy. I don't think we need to belabor this point. IU players to watch. Who is it, Seth?
We've already hit on all of my talking points, I feel like. So I'm just going to read them off anyways. But it's red zone offense. Ellison, Lawton at running back, Horton at tight end. The big difference in this game with 2 high-powered defenses is when you get a trip to the Crimson Zone, it's 6 shit. My notes, I tried to write them stupid, and I am saying them even stupider now. 6 points are better than 3. Duh. Yeah. So between running the ball and using play action to somebody like Horton to maximize your chances of getting more 6s than 3s, that's what's going to be the biggest difference in this game. So when you get in the Crimson Zone, converting it into touchdowns, having that high efficiency red zone offense, I mean, it could be one of those things where both teams score 4 times, but if it's 3 touchdowns and 2 touchdowns, well, one team looks pretty damn dumb now, don't they?
Yep. Yeah. The obvious answer is Rourke. Everyone
Yeah, of
this week
course.
is talking about Rourke, so that's why I'm going to go with the law firm of Miles, and Surratt. I'm just going to keep making the joke.
Double swerve. Oh,
Yeah,
great.
because I've already belabored the point. Nebraska's going to get after the quarterback, so those three are going to have to create separation at the line early. Rourke's not going to be able to do 3-5 step 40-yard bombs. It's going to have to be slants, outs, hooks, yak, broken tackles.
Mhm.
It's going to have to be those sort of plays. Surratt's going to have to shug off a defender.
Yep.
The Miles are going to have to break a few ankles. This defense is too good to win on 6, 8, 10 drive plays. You're going to need some explosive plays through yards after catch, right? And even yards after contact for that point. But I think the wide receiver room separation and yak, I think have a chance to really separate this game significantly.
I think there's going to be a substantial play with Rourke where the play breaks down. All of a sudden he's out of the pocket and it's a scramble drill. And no longer is the read important. No longer is the original play concept important. Now all of a sudden it's Surratt having an extra second to shake some guy and do a recross across the field kind of move to get open. It's going to be some busted play that turns into a 45-yard chunk that's going to be a difference play. It's what happens outside of the pocket when the play is broken down that you got to trust Rourke. And I think that's going to be the difference.
And that's how you beat good
fifth-year
defenses.
guy versus a first-year guy. Yeah. Yes.
And that's how you beat good. Like, I don't want to I will discredit the Nebraska offense all day long. I'm not going to discredit this Nebraska defense because it is good. It is a good defense that does not give up points and does not give up yards. And it's those broken plays. It's those really well schemed up, executed plays that make all the difference in the world. All right. Anyone else on offense, or do you want to jump to defense? Where I think defense. Again. All right. I'll go first here. I think again, this Jalen Walker's health is going to be so freaking important to this game. Because I think again, what does Patrick Mahomes Jr. want to do? He wants to roll out. He wants to get on the run. He wants to play backyard football. You know who can cancel that out? The spy, right? The best spy on the field, Jalen Walker. So I think his health and his availability is going to be massive in this game.
And it's not just that; it's his dynamic athleticism. It's
sideline to sideline.
It's not just being in the game; it's being 100, at least close to 100%, so that he can maximize that freakish athleticism that really can shut down a QB run game or scramble game, or just to better contain a quarterback.
Yep.
Speaking of quarterback contain, my answer is Dylan Raiola. So it's no matter what you said, my answer is going to be Dylan Raiola, because it's pass rush, it's DBs in coverage, it's linebackers finding the right backs and tight ends underneath. It's all of it coming together to rattle a freshman quarterback on the road. Affecting Raiola is the best chance to win the game, getting him off center, getting guys around his legs so that he can't step into throws, getting him flinching from the pass rush, make him go through a progression. I still haven't seen him really go through a 1, 2, 3, 4 read progression. A lot of it's that first. If the first one's not open, it's the second. If the first one's not open, second. First one's not open, throw it away. A lot of it is very quick reads. So making him prove that he has the mental acumen to be the quarterback and not just the physical tools is going to be a huge part of this. He may be good enough to still beat you, even if you do all those things, but you have to make him uncomfortable and make him think too much. So Kamara, Carr, West, Carpenter need to have big days, and then Pons and Johnson really need to be shut down cornerbacks this week. So anybody affecting Dylan Raiola, making him look like a freshman quarterback on a true road test. He's only played games in Nebraska and Indiana at the collegiate level. And you have to make this a hell of a lot tougher test than it was to West Lafayette.
So this is why we podcast so well. I think my yang is going to completely complement your yin. because I think it's Weston Carpenter clogging up the run lanes.
Mm.
You said it. Rule wants to run the ball. It's a 2nd and 9 is totally different than 2nd and 6.
Preach.
A 3rd and 7 is so different than 3rd and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you can stop the run on 1st and 2nd down and put Raiola in a behind the chains situations, that's where a Jalen Walker, Mikel Kamara, Linnell Carr, Aiden Fisher can really start getting after it. So I think it starts right there in the middle of Weston Carpenter and run contain, because Rule is a running coach.
Mm-hmm.
Raiola is going to dominate the headlines, but Rule wants to run. And if you can stop that on 1st and 2nd, Rule is stubborn enough. 2nd and 8, I'm running again to get the 2nd and 4. Right? He'll go run pass, pass. And he'll do run pass if he can get to 3rd and 3.
Yep.
He'll do it if he can get to 3rd and 4. If you can prevent that, make it 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, then they stop being run pass. Then it's maybe pass run pass or run pass. And now they are off script, right? Rule wants to go run pass, and I think Carpenter and West are the best levers we have to pull to stopping that.
And I think he knows that's the recipe to win on the road in the Big Ten.
Yep.
It's running the ball, it's keeping the other team's offense off the field, it's exhausting the defense. It's all about being, multidimensional and being dynamic. And Matt Rule wants the Big Ten tough guy street cred. He wants to be Brett Bielema. He wants to be I'll run the ball on 3rd and 8. I don't give a shit. He wants that moniker. And you can play into it a little bit. So if you have the team and talent to beat him, you can let him go. Okay. All right, Maddie, go ahead and run on 2nd and 8. Go for it, big guy. But yeah, so he wants that. He wants to be that guy. And like you said, he's stubborn enough to force it. And I bet he's salty going to bed most nights going, I can't believe I'm 90, whatever, and run or whatever he is.
Oh, he hates it. He hates it. 90th in rushing. 90th.
And he wants to prove it by beating 6-0 IU in Bloomington on homecoming by running the ball right down their throats. He's every Pee Wee football coach I ever played for. I mean, it's all of that stuff.
I'm sorry.
I know. 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and we're punting on 4th and 1 with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth.
It's terrible.
And his bike shorts,
Oh, man. All right, let's get to a quick promo, and then we'll get back to Brando's Randos.
This episode is brought to you by your go-to expert in the Indiana real estate market. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in a home right here in the heart of the Hoosier country, Garrett Lawton with True Blood Real Estate is the agent that you need. He's not just a real estate agent, he's a Hoosier fan just like you. And Garrett knows Indiana inside and out, from Bloomington to Indianapolis and everywhere in between. Plus, his personalized service makes the buying and selling process smooth and stress-free. So if you're ready to make a move, give Garrett a call at 317-410-8851 or visit his website at lawton-realty.com.
All right, now that we're done with that promo and talking about Seth's memory of bike shorts in youth football practice, we can get to Brando's Randos. Everyone in Nebraska wants to talk about it. The message boards and online want to talk about it.
Oh.
What percentage of the stadium is going to be Nebraska fans on Saturday?
It'll be at least 25. They travel everywhere. And the damn problem,
30 to 33.
And the damn problem is they're going to have the same red shit you guys are wearing, and you're not going to be able to tell the difference until they start talking.
So I've only been at a Nebraska game once when they came. I forget what year it was. And their fans were awful because they were beating our doors off. They were beating our doors off. How do you think they are if they're getting beat? Do you think they're humble and sit on their hands?
No.
Or do you think they're going to be fights? Maybe not fights.
No.
Like yelling,
No, it'll be, we'll get you next time. Because they're okay. I'll get my final.
Have fun this year. Have fun this year.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because that I mean, my final statement was all about how vocal Big Red Nation is online. They are substantial. They are on the same level as Ohio State and Michigan, and to more of an extent than kind of Penn State and Wisconsin. But they haven't done shit to deserve it. At least Michigan and Ohio State have national championships and Big Ten championships, and Penn State's been like, at least we've been to whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Same with Iowa and Michigan State.
Right, even them, sure. But these guys are always like, oh, next year's our year. Oh, we're one player away from greatness. Prominence and dominance are one day away. And it's just like the Big Red Nation is just so the Grange, it's been 25 years since they've been relevant, and they're still telling you every year, next year, prominence and dominance. So part of me thinks that they're probably going to be pretty good. Part of me thinks that there's some legitimate, they're probably a pretty damn good team, probably an upper quad of the Big Ten. But I hope IU beats the shit out of them just to give a little bit of humility to them, because I don't get it. It's just so undeserved. It's so unjustified. I just don't get it. They're so loud, so proud, and they have nothing to show for it. But they swear tomorrow's prominence. Tomorrow is dominance. Big Red Nation is a day away.
I love it. I love it. And I agree. I think they are a pretty knowledgeable fan base. I think they're a very loyal fan base.
Oh.
I think they go home crying. I don't think they start fights, but I think they are going to be loud and enjoy it now. Wait till Rayola's next year, and Rule needs a few classes, and the excuses will be loud, and it'll kind of remind me of IU basketball.
And as a college sports fan, that's what I want out of my fans, out of my team fans. I want this relentless optimism that's borderline delusional. Oh, that's fantastic in a fandom. And they're so forgiving for all these terrible players and terrible losses. And they're like, oh, it's no big deal. We're going to be great soon. It's fine.
Yep. All right. So 2 big shows at IU this weekend. Not the music variety that you like, but we got the Barstool and Company coming, and also Big Noon. Who has the bigger attendance, the Barstool show or the Big Noon kickoff show?
So I'm going to answer with my head and not my heart on this one. So the answer should be Big Noon, because it's what everybody actually cares about, and Barstool's kind of a joke. But Barstool's for college kids. Who comes
You'll
to
be
college
at 17th
football?
and Woodlawn, which is right where all the Greek.
Yep.
Barstool knows what it's doing.
Yeah. So where are they going? Frat row. So of course, from a marketing standpoint, from a broing out standpoint, it's going to end up being bro boys and whatever. And I can't stand them, but whatever. It's a good time. It's fun. College kids love it. I'm old and nerdy and whatever. So yeah, I think it's ultimately going to end up being Barstool, because that's what the kids are into, and where the kids go, that's where the crowd follows. So it's going to be kind of weird, and it might be some kind of big dick pissing contest between goofy ass Portnoy and Fox, but it'll be interesting to see. I can't wait for you to be reporting back to the group being like, it's 85% of the people at Barstool. There is nobody at Big Noon.
Yeah.
And then
for sure. Yeah. I'll be at both for sure. Definitely more at Big Noon, just because I've been to college bars and I don't know what to do with my hands in that environment. I used to have it, right? But I'm now 36, almost 37, and I just don't feel comfortable in those situations anymore. But I will definitely be checking out both and reporting on it.
Right. As a tourist, don't you have to at least check them both out? I mean,
Yes.
it's part of the marvel of being 6-0. It's the part of the marvel of having 2, big time teams right now, record wise, facing off. It'd be great if Nebraska was good enough to be ranked in both polls, but whatever, cool. It'd be great to have a homecoming matchup, ranked, Big Noon, all the eyeballs on Bloomington. As an IU fan, 6 games in the Signetti era, what more could you have freaking asked for?
Yep. Agreed. I got two more questions here for you. Big noon. Does that, if Fox wants us to think this is an important game, an important slot, but I'd much rather have the NBC 7:30 time slot. That's the number one for me. What about you? What would you rather have as a friend? No, not as a fan, one, and two, as a program? Because those are two different things.
The answer is always 7:30. I think from a primetime perspective, the more eyeballs you can get in primetime, the better. There is a proliferation of 12 o'clock noon kickoffs. So depending on what part of the nation you're in, you could probably watch 6 to 8 games. I know I have 2 TVs going on it with double box going on, or well, unless IU anyways, I usually have between 5 and 8 games going on the 2 TVs I have set up. So to be able to have a 7:30 game where it's maybe there's only one other game that's really big deal going against you, everybody's watching it. I think there's something just special about night games, dark lights, Big Ten night. I don't know. There's something magical about it. But yeah, I mean, it's fun to have big noon kickoff and Barstool and all that stuff too. But yeah, sure. I like primetime. Primetime gets me excited. That's what I'm like. I'm waiting all day for the big night game. Usually it's an SEC game. It's like, oh, they're not going to bury Alabama, Georgia at noon on SEC Network. Like, no, they're going to put it primetime so that nobody will miss it. Appointment viewing television.
You got it. Last question, just because, I love talking memories. Homecoming. Memorable senior homecoming, not memorable senior homecoming for you, Seth.
Goal line stand to win 28-27. I was like the third guy in on the tackle at the 1 yard line. And that guy ended up playing safety at IU, who was the running back of the team we played against. So we didn't win many games that season, but that was one we did win. And yeah, definitely memorable.
I lost homecoming king to a hippie weirdo. So
it was me.
All right. Enough about our high school stories. Let's get to predictions.
Oh, hold on. Get to my sack first.
Oh, sorry. Your sack.
Yeah.
Yes.
I just got one thing, and I told you guys about this in the text group. This is the 4th time this season already that IU will be playing an opponent who has multiple weeks to prepare for them. FIU to start the season obviously had all off season. UCLA had that weird Hawaii then bye week before IU. Northwestern had a bye week before IU, and then Nebraska also was on a bye week last week. So as far as getting time to prepare for IU, a lot of, considering going 6-0 and 3 of the teams have had, at least 2 weeks to prepare for you, that says a lot about kind of getting the best shot of your opponents.
Yep. No. And again, it's not like Nebraska has played a tough schedule either. They've placed the 114th as we played the 109th. So enough about that. That's all over the online. Let's get the predictions. Seth, you go first.
Yeah, so I don't know that Nebraska has played anyone or if they're really any good. Rayola might be a stud, but it's too early to tell. I hope IU cruises, but I think it ends up being closer to the line. And I had it before I knew the line at 24-17 IU.
So what do you have it? Sorry.
24-17 Indiana.
Well, all of our predictions are ridiculously close. Let me think if I may have to think mine over. Bragg has it. Bragg has his 27-17. He goes, I think we have an advantage in the turnover margin and make it a living hell for Patrick Mahomes Jr. They haven't seen a complete team all season, and this is going to be the first true road game. For me, I think IU finally has to start settling for some field goals, unfortunately. But I also think Nebraska is completely unable to move the ball. I have IU winning 27-16. So 1 point off of Bragg and like 4 total points off of you. Not fun podcasting at all. The over-under's at 50 people. 50. So we're all taking extremely under. IU's been crushing overs. I just think you have two elite defenses is what I really think this comes down to. And I don't think scoring 26 points is completely terrible and against two good defenses. I just don't have respect for their offense at all.
Yeah, I think what those scores tell me, and we haven't talked to Bragg aside from just some random texting here and there, is that we all have a pretty similar read on this game, is that despite the offensive accolades for IU, we think that they're going to be limited a little bit. This will probably be their toughest game to move the ball offensively, but we think that their defense is still going to stand up because Nebraska is somewhat limited as far as what they've done offensively so far. And the ultimate wash is going to come down to the fans. And, I think it's more important than ever that we do the little hype speech that the fans have to show up, show out. They have to pack they are packing the rock. So now it's, what do you do with it? Now,
Yep.
Are you or are you not a difference maker? And the fans can absolutely play a big part in whether or not Raiola gets rattled. So ultimately, Coach Cignetti has built a colossal avalanche of momentum. And we're finally at a turning point as a program as to whether or not this is serious. And we've been flirting with seriousness now for a few weeks. We've had a couple guys put us in the playoffs. A couple guys have us on the fringe of the playoffs. There's some projections out there at 9.5 wins now. There are a lot of really positive things that they have Big Noon and Barstool coming to town. There is so much stuff swirling around
much
the program.
juice.
The Juju storm is still out there too. Is he coming? We don't know. Sunseri's got his magic working, doesn't he? So all of this stuff is just building. It's building. And we're finally at a point now where you can just drop your pants and go nuts. I mean, this is the weekend where it's like, go up there, show up, show out, and just go crazy. Because if you end up 7-0, not only are you real, all your bona fides are there. You've beaten teams, and nobody can say, oh, you beat Charlotte, good for you. I just think there's a legitimacy. This is a turning point weekend. This is a prove it weekend, like you said. And it's important that the fans be a big part of that.
Yeah, they're a monster part of it. And I think the sellouts show it for sure. That was a hell of a final statement, by the way.
Considering I had to completely recap my old one because I blew that on Big Red Nation Talk.
Let's get quickly. We're going to do this in about 90 seconds because we're approaching an hour here. We're going to go around the Big Ten. I just want to preface, huge gambler. Monster gambler. I'm not betting a single one of these games. I think the lines are incredible and they're not worth touching.
And I'm flying blind on this. I have not looked at any of these.
Yeah. So anyway, quick 90 seconds. Number 2, Oregon traveling to West Lafayette. Purdue is getting 27.5.
Oh God. I hate the eastbound trip. I hate the noon kickoff. Everything screams letdown for Oregon.
Especially after the win last week. Yeah.
I think they win handily, but it's like 24-3 or something goofy, something ugly.
Yep. I agree. Wisconsin at Northwestern +7.
Wisconsin's on an absolute, I don't know what the hell got into them. Something about playing Purdue made them healthy as shit. So I am on Wisconsin.
Oh, and Northwestern's so bad.
Yeah.
Even though they just beat the hell out of Maryland.
Right. Right.
But Wisconsin. UCLA at Rutgers -4.5.
This is a get right game for Rutgers. They have to win by probably 3 or 4 touchdowns, honestly.
UCLA's given up, especially given who their coach is. There's no motivation going west to east. Rutgers.
No.
Michigan at Illinois. I think it's the best. I actually think this might be the best game of the weekend. Illinois home dog +3.5.
I would go big balls and just pick on Illinois to win money
line.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just try it. No belief, no reason. Just give me something fun to root for.
100%. USC going west to east to College Station. No, not College Park. College Park.
Yeah.
Maryland +7.
This makes me disgusting. I thought USC should have won against Penn State. I still really like Moss. I don't know what it is about him. He's undersized. He doesn't really have any athleticism, but damn it, he makes plays. But just not enough against Penn State. I want to say that this is a get right game for them, but I don't have as much faith in them, especially with the East Coast travel. This is a game I don't touch with a 10-foot clown pole.
This is the only game that I'm probably betting. I know I said I'm not going to bet anything, but if I had to, I love USC here. Both teams want to play for style points. Mike Locksley stinks. They just got blown up by Northwestern. I think USC wins by 10 plus points. Last game, Iowa at Michigan State. Iowa is actually looking like they could go 9-3, 10-2 again, traveling to East Lansing where the Spartans are 5.5 home dogs. What do you got?
Yeah, Iowa always seems like that team that wins 4 games more than they have any reason to win. But then you look at their schedule and you're like, well, yeah, of course they beat Michigan State. Oh,
Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, I'm always going to lean towards Iowa. I think they travel a little bit better. Michigan State doesn't really do anything for me. I've watched Childs now 3 times. I'm confused. I don't quite get the progression. I see some flashes of brilliance and the rest of it's just bullshit. So I'm not quite sure. So I will always default till Iowa until Michigan State proves some consistency.
Yep. Bet the under in this game.
Yes.
Bet whatever it is. I don't care if it's 30. Bet the under in this game. That's it.
It's a 16-3 game.
I mean, it could honestly be 10-3. Would not surprise me at all if it's 10-3. All right. That's all we got, guys. Loaded show for a loaded weekend in the biggest game that I could remember. I'll be there. Seth, will you be live tweeting?
I will be.
Live tweeting the whole game. Give Bragg hell on social media. Guys, I know you're going to show up. I know you're going to show out. I know you're going to tailgate. Let's freaking go. I think this is a turning point. You heard me at the top of the show. This is a contenders versus pretenders. This is a playoff implication, Seth, game. Man, if I could give you my energy, I would. Bring your own. Let's do it. Let's go Hoosiers. Seth, what do you got?
Don't pull your pants down. That was bad advice I gave earlier. Take your shirt off. Don't pull your pants down.
One will get you arrested. One will just get you laughed at. So go with the one would just get you laughed at. Guys, have a great time. Drink responsibly, cheer responsibly, drive responsibly. I'll have my DD there. So I know for those that probably nobody cares, but if you did care, I will be well taken care of. But if you want to buy me a beer, just yell Brandon and, I'll be there. Seth, thank you for everything. And guys, we will talk to you next week. See ya.
Have fun,
Cheers.
Brando. Cheers.